Thanks for tuning into our seller interview series. Up today, we've got an e-commerce business for sale in the apparel and accessories niche. Created in January 2015, this business makes $1,713 per month in net profit, and the listing number for this business is 40972. Now, we do these interviews to give potential buyers more information about both the seller and the businesses they're looking to purchase. We hope these insights are helpful for you in making a buying decision. We've got the seller with us today to go through the business and cover everything from niche selection to traffic and monetization. Thanks for coming on, Chris.
Hey, Greg. Good to talk to you. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. How about you?
Very good. Thank you. Exciting to do this interview.
Excellent. Before we dive into the first few questions here, just to give a quick summary of the business for everyone out there listening in. As I already mentioned, it was built in January 2015, has a monthly revenue of $12,313, with expenses sitting at $10,600 for that total net profit of $1,713. That is over a 12-month average. And included in the sale of this business will be the domain, site content files, email list, affiliate accounts, review account, and the social media profile. So my first question for you, Chris, is can you tell us a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses?
Yes, sure, of course. And this is probably somewhat unusual for you guys. So I have to clearly mention I'm neither a techie nor an internet freak or internet entrepreneur by heart. I usually my day job is I used to work as a freelance consultant doing management consulting for banks essentially as a freelancer, which is can be quite an unstable project type of business. You have assignments and you have downtime. And the reason for going after a page like that was I thought I just would like to have some, a stable kind of side business, to have predictable, cash flows coming in without much input from my side to kind of balance, say, volatile day job that I have. And that's how I started looking. I'm neither a coder, as I said, nor a serial internet entrepreneur. I just started doing some research, looking for some businesses that I could run on the side, basically. I made some nice money and ended up acquiring this website after looking at a few. I acquired it through an advertisement I saw somewhere else from a team. This was a team of Eastern European developers that had developed the site. As you said, I think in January 2015 it was launched. I could look at all the figures. It was a very transparent acquisition process. I bought it in, I think it was August or September 2016. And what immediately attracted me to that site was obviously I saw it had very stable, very predictable cash flows. At the time it was making about $900 up to $1,000 a month, but very stable. It had a growing user base, growing financials. It was an attractive site to look at. It was well done. I could see even as I said, being a non-techie, but it was attractive, responsive site, was fully working up in place, up and running. At the same time, it also had some drawbacks. I could see it was kind of undermanaged in a way. I saw a lot more potential than what those guys were doing. It still had a few programming bugs. It had, and this is maybe, forgive my words, slightly politically incorrect, but it had a certain, say, third world look and feel to it, or touch and feel. You could see that, it wasn't proper English. The content was a bit all over the place. It was not properly organized. The hosting was somewhere, I think, in Ukraine or Belarus or somewhere in Eastern Europe, which affected its Google ranking. It was not perfectly well run. And at the same time, I could see they had some, and this was disclosed in that sales process, they even had some copyright or, copyright infringement issues. They were selling products, I think, or some products they sold were from Asian importers. I don't know where they got them from, and I could just see that, and they flagged that in the sales process. They had time and again, they had issues or, complaints from trademark owners, from Western, say, be it whatever, Nike or Adidas or Lacoste or, these nice brands. And they were not only, but they were partly selling such products, which I think they acquired from Asia and sold them to Europe and the US, which is obviously based, I live in Switzerland, so a first world country, I guess, in the middle of Europe. So this was for me an absolute no-go. And after acquiring it, I went through great lengths. I think we currently have around 1,200 products in stock. And I can absolutely guarantee that this is 100.0% free of any copyright infringement. So I went through every single product. And even in the slightest case of doubt, a little Nike logo or something that may look like a Nike logo, I just flat out deleted. Do not have any issues at all. Good. And since September, I've never had any of that stuff anymore. But this is kind of the background, how I got to the site.
So you obviously have increased the site since you've taken it over in terms of net profit. For people out there looking at this business as perhaps one of their first business acquisitions, Could you just briefly describe how the business is primarily making its money? I know it's an e-commerce business. Is it mainly drop shipping? And if so, could you just describe that briefly?
Yes, so this is very simple, as you said, straightforward drop shipping business model. So the business sells fashion clothes basically for what we call fashion forward women. So younger women, typically between the ages of, say, 18 to 35, something like that. So it's very modern type of millennium type of crowd. Sells it through a website that we have. Products are presented. We get very nice pictures from our supplier, presented in a very nice way, but it's a 100% dropship business model, meaning we have zero point 0.0 inventory. All we do is we get orders on our site. People pay through PayPal or using their credit cards with to checkout, order at our site, and what we do then is we order at our suppliers. There would be a way to automate this. I've looked into that. I think technically it would be feasible to make this whole order process 100% automated. I haven't done it until now. Currently, you could either do that yourself if you want to, but I currently outsource that to people, two persons sitting in the Philippines, contractors. They are paid roughly $5 an hour to do that. So all they basically do is they take the orders, and our suppliers have interfaces or online ordering to be interfaces for their distributors. So all they do is they take the orders, type them in at the suppliers' web pages, and it's directly shipped then from our suppliers to the customer, which could be, most customers are US based. There's a few Europeans, Australians, Japanese, all over the world. And we typically take a margin of, or an upmark of, say, 60%. If the customer pays $10, we typically pay around $4.50, something like that, at our suppliers. And it's as simple as that.
It sounds like you got the systems pretty, figured out, and you've obviously laid down some solid groundwork here since you took over the business. Why are you selling the business? Why not just keep it and keep growing it?
Very good question. And again, has to do, I guess, with my day job or my former day job as a consultant. When I acquired the business, I'm starting a new project for a Swiss-based bank, which ran until early this year. I guess unexpectedly received a very attractive job offer from this bank, which I took. So since February 2017, since early this year, went back to being a full-time employee. Obviously, when I got hired, I fully disclosed that I still have this side business running. It's obviously there's no conflict of interest or whatever issue. This is a very different business segment. I can still, and have been doing so for the last 5-6 months, absolutely run it on the side. But nevertheless, my new employer kind of expects me to at some point dispose of this business. So this is not a fire sale situation where I must get rid of it immediately. But I guess within the next 6 to 12 months or so, I would be looking at selling this. Gotcha. But I guess it's really, a nice proof that it's pretty much running on autopilot. 100% employed now at a bank, have a normal day job, and this thing is running on the side and creating the same types of profits.
Yeah, that's one of the cool things about these kind of apps. Once you really get them up and running, they can be fairly minimal in terms of what you're doing to maintain it. So any plan for the money after the sale? Are you going to take a nice vacation or do anything with it?
Honestly, I haven't thought of that. Obviously, it depends on the purchase price. This is, as I said, I told you before, this is the first internet business I ever acquired and the first I ever sell. So this is all relatively new to me. Exciting process. Let's see where it goes.
Excellent. Cool, man. So when you first bought this business and you started, really laying the work into it, what was the trajectory like for you for those first few weeks and months owning it?
It was very intense, I would say, first 2 months. I worked full-time, 100% full-time on it for I would say about 8 to 10 weeks almost. Full-time, I got 1 month support from the previous owners, which were very nice, very friendly, very transparent people. Didn't speak English too well, but it worked. They helped me fix some bugs, but afterwards I hired another coder, a contractor, to help me. I had lots of ideas how to improve it, how to make it more simple. We now have, for instance, made a big difference. I think it's kind of a one-click or one-screen checkout. So that normally when many online stores, even Amazon, there's like a 4 or 5 step checkout processes. And I think with each step, you tend to lose conversion. You tend to lose some certain clients. In our case, you basically put it in your shopping cart, and with one click, you can pay for it, which I saw somewhere else. And this had a great impact on the bottom line. Once the business was stable and free from any bugs and up and running, made a new logo and a little bit of a new design and made it a bit sexier and, social media icons and all the usual bells and whistles to it. I then engaged in expensive Facebook advertising campaign. So spending thousands and thousands of dollars for Facebook, and you will see this. There was a huge spike in traffic, I think somewhere around October, November, December last year. This absolutely worked in a sense that it really drives traffic to your site. In our case, I just felt it's very expensive. So all this incremental traffic that I generated through this was basically at non-profit. I didn't lose any money, but I also didn't make any money simply because the Facebook ads were so expensive. So if anybody out there has a cunning plan on how to bring down his Facebook cost per click, I think there's a lot of potential in there. I unfortunately never did, but it was still good. I knew that this wouldn't be too profitable, but I just wanted to increase the user base and, get the word out and start increasing traffic through kind of an upfront marketing blitz. And that worked in a sense that right now we have about, I think, over 8,000 registered customers, a lot of them recurring customers. It brought us up in our Google rankings, our social media profiles as a result grew strongly, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it was worth it. But after December last year, starting January this year, I gradually reduced Facebook to pretty much zero because it just creates a lot of traffic. But as I said, it's not really profitable. So I've been running it as a cash cow pretty much ever since.
If you were going to start another business, I know you're focusing on your job, but say you were, is there anything you learned from this business, like one thing that worked really well for you that you would have applied to a future business?
What I really like, but I think pretty much everything worked in this case. Absolutely no regrets. You're not going to make millions every month with this business. You see the figures, but it's still a nice, extra money you can make without much effort.
Right.
What I liked is the kind of the autopilot thing about it. It really doesn't require a lot of the owner's work. Obviously, if you want to, you can insource a lot of the stuff that is currently outsourced if you want to keep that money to yourself. But it's running absolutely smoothly. I think I would, again, if I were to do such a thing again, I have no special internet skills. I would definitely be looking for, an easy to understand and run kind of, a straightforward business model, a business that requires no special skills, or I think in this case, not even market know-how. We're not selling, machine components or anything. It's women's clothing. It's pretty straightforward. What I like, it's a fun business in a way and a satisfying business to run, in a sense that you're selling, a very attractive, tangible consumer product, nice, modern fashion clothes. It's a nice website. You're selling something that consumers actually really like. You get a lot of happy, satisfied customers, a lot of cute compliments, nice comments on your social media. So it's very satisfying in a way, very rewarding. I think if I definitely go for a similar, B2C type, straightforward, selling stuff on the internet type of business.
Is the main thing you tried that didn't work the Facebook ads, you'd say, or is there anything else that stands out to you that's something that maybe didn't work as well as you had hoped?
I think it pretty much, as I said, when we acquired it, it made about $700-800 a month. I managed to more than double it. It pretty much worked, I think, better than I had expected. Let me think if there's anything or any hassles. Not really. I think so far, everything has been very smooth. There's no copyright complaints. I think there's certain risks probably that you would have to keep in mind. I always had this kind of, primal fear of any internet entrepreneur of a reduction in traffic. Currently, the site has around 2,500 visitors a month. And this is obviously, I'm neither a woman nor a typical user of such sites myself. So I always had kind of strange fear, like, where are these people coming from? And how does this happen? Why would they buy here? But it's been running very smoothly. I always had this fear. A lot of the traffic is coming through free social media, through Instagram, Pinterest, Google+, and all those network sites we have. I think there's a risk at some point those sites could engage in kind of crackdown on online shops or introduce a priced advertising model at some point. I don't know if this is anywhere near the horizon. It's just a buyer needs to be aware. Most of the traffic is currently coming through those social networks.
Yeah. Are you currently...
There could always be... Sorry?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Finish.
Obviously, there could always be, new competitors arriving, but at the same time, there's already, 100,000 of such sites. Any site selling women's clothing is a potential competitor. You're never going to be the only one selling women's clothing. There could be, say, a U.S. government / Donald Trump type of risk in a sense that there could be a tariffs induced because this stuff is shipped straight out of Asia and is imported to the U.S. and to Europe.
Right.
Currently without any tariff issues at all.
Of course, yeah. Hopefully it stays that way.
Yes.
When it comes, I want to focus a little bit on the traffic here. We'll move into the risk here in a couple questions, but so it's mainly coming from social media. Are you doing the social media yourself? Is it organic? Do you have your VAs posting on there for you? How does that look?
all fully outsourced. When I acquired it, I did it myself for about a week and quickly figured, A, I don't have the time and patience to do it. And B, it also, I think it requires a person that has a woman, I think, that is closer to, has a certain relationship to that scene, and all the celebrities using those type of clothes, and, a fashion type of person who knows which purses are hot right now and which types of skirts and shirts and whatever. So I quickly was looking for somebody, for a contractor to do that, and it's currently fully outsourced. That's one amazing girl, actually. She's a student based in the Czech Republic that I contract her site, also pay her, in her case, a fixed price per month. I think she's making around $400 to $500 a month. And all she basically does is social media. And she has a clear to-do list. So every single day she has her, we have 2 Pinterest profiles. So she has her 40 to 50 Pinterest pins, and she has her tweets that she has to do, and she has Facebook pages that she has to upload, etc. It's quite time consuming. And I said, I think it's better if a girl does it who has a closer relationship to our business than I would have as a person.
Excellent. And when it comes to your earnings, do you find that there's only a few products that are making the lion's share of the income, or is the income kind of spread out throughout all the products?
Pretty spread out, I think. You'll see on the website, we have a section that's automated by the website. We have a section with all our best sellers automatically created, but there's not like 1 or 2 products that are extremely dominant. It's very fickle also. It changes every few days. It changes every month with the season. And by the way, the same lady who does the pins and the social media, she also, part of her job description is also she adds about 5 to 7 new products every single day.
Oh, okay, cool.
Which also means it's quick. All she goes to the suppliers' websites, checks, things that could be hot, that could be sought after by U.S. women, that, whatever, Kim Kardashian or whoever may have worn at some event. She looks for these things and adds 5 to 7 new products every single day and then posts them on social media.
Do you have a system for her to pick out those clothes, or is it just kind of based off her gut?
Content-wise, absolutely based off her gut, and she's been doing a great job. I think if you do that yourself, I think it's good if you are an active, say, Instagram and Pinterest user and kind of see, what is hot right now, what is trending. But content-wise, she's 100% free. I'm not the person to judge that. But technically, when I acquired the site, the former owner did that for me. There's a kind of a Google Chrome add-in or a plugin that you can install. All you have to do is go to the supplier's website, click a button, and it automatically imports the product you want. So that's very easy.
Excellent. Are you adding content to the site at all? I know you just said you're adding about 7 new projects or so a day, but are you also doing any kind of blogging, any kind of SEO work on the site?
Absolutely. Blogging. We've just started doing that about 2 months ago. When I acquired the site, I think there was no blog in place, also because probably the owners didn't really speak or write proper English. So we do blogging, again, fully outsourced. I just purchased these articles. That's a team of writers. I think they're based in India, of women writers that I found on, was it Fiverr or one of those, contractor websites. And I basically purchased 20 blog articles per month at approximately 300 words. Also, content-wise, I'm not the person to judge. They have a few clear guidelines. Obviously, it must be original content, must be about women's fashion, and must somehow, relate to the products that we're selling. But We're purchasing these articles and upload them every single day, link them with products that we sell, and that's been working nicely. What I also then do is the blog articles are automatically or manually posted to all the social media accounts we have every single day, and that's basically where our traffic comes from. So the blog articles would write about, fashion tips for this summer and how to wear bikinis and how to wear jeans for work, whatever, basically tips and tricks on clothing.
Cool. If you were hypothetically going to keep this business and grow it, what do you believe is the least risky path to grow this business?
I guess there's 2 ways you could look at it. You could either try to increase revenues, engage on a growth path, or you could try to reduce costs and, try to extract, I think, or you could try to do both if you're a genius. But I guess both paths are viable. On the revenue side, what you could definitely do, I just haven't had the time, but what you could definitely do is increase social media. So post more frequently, open additional accounts, buy advertisements, some of those pages. I would always have loved to purchase Pinterest advertisements. I think Pinterest is a great site for that type of business because it attracts exactly our target customers, fashion-forward, modern women aged 18 to 35. I couldn't do that out of Europe. I think you have to be US-based, but that would be great if you could do that. I think you can increase blog content, frequency, quality. There's definitely a lot of potential in the blog. I very much liked the affiliate marketing I've engaged in. That's something I accidentally saw on another website. I didn't even know what that was, I should say. But a few months, this was probably January, February this year, I signed up with 4 large affiliate networks. You see that on the website. It's ShareAsale, WebGains, Pepperjam, and Awin, which was formerly Affiliate Window. That has been very good, a very attractive source of traffic, much cheaper than, say, paid traffic through Facebook. Has worked very well. But again, I haven't really found the time to dedicate much to affiliate marketing. I don't really understand it. I basically signed up. It has been running on autopilot. But I think there's a lot of potential in there. I think you could send out newsletters, which I've done once just when I acquired the website. Again, I haven't had the time, but I think all our addresses are centrally stored in MailChimp. So that's all set up. If you want to send out, I think newsletters is a good, cheaper source of traffic. You could think of sponsorships, partnerships. As said in the beginning, you could think of a smart Facebook strategy if you managed to do that in a smarter way than I did. Any other paid traffic, potentially, I think those are some of the revenue strategies. On the cost side, it's much more straightforward. I think there's some leverage you may have vis-a-vis our suppliers. We've been a very stable, I think, well-regarded, frankly, good customer for all those suppliers, making them good money. I think you could definitely contact some of them and ask for special discounts, offer special promotions, special affiliate links or whatever, just basically lower your purchase price. And then obviously on the cost side, you could also try to just reduce basically the spend currently spending on external contractors. For me, it was just important to have this 100% outsourced, to have it on autopilot. Sometime, if you have a friend or a wife or a colleague or whoever that may dedicate some time to this business, you can absolutely do part of this in-house. It's a very straightforward type of work and keep that money to yourself as well.
But how big is your email list, by the way?
Email list is currently about 8,200, I think, and growing pretty much every day also automatically. So every person that orders is added to the list. It's currently around 8,200.
You guys aren't doing any kind of email promotions on a regular basis at all, or?
No. I've sent out one nicely designed, so the template is still ready for the new buyer if you want to do that. I've sent out one nicely designed newsletter through MailChimp, which had an interesting conversion, actually. I think that is also would be a relatively cheap source of traffic. Create a nice coupon, discount code, and, send out such newsletters regularly, whatever, bi-weekly or monthly, or you have special newsletters for special clients. Again, I just didn't have the time, but I think that would be an attractive source of traffic also.
Would you do anything differently if you just kind of threw caution to the wind and wanted to grow the business as quickly as possible? Is there anything you'd really focus on to do that?
It's hard to say. I said I was definitely a bit disappointed by the lack of my money-making ability through Facebook. But then a lot of people told me this is absolutely normal. That's why Mr. Zuckerberg got so rich, because it's just Facebook ads are very expensive. It was still a good tool, to create traffic. But I think I'm not sure, again, because this was a massive amount of work also those first 2 months with all those huge amounts of orders coming in. And it was a massive amount of work to build the email list, which was nice. I think now we can benefit from it, but I'm not sure from hindsight it was worth all the effort and basically essentially making no money with those expensive Facebook ads. I think were ever to acquire a next business, again, I would probably spare myself the effort and grow it more slowly, more organically. But other than that, it's been a nice little success, nice little extra money.
Yeah, for sure. You mentioned a few questions ago, some of the risks. What do you think the biggest risks are to a buyer in purchasing this business that they should be aware of before they actually purchase it?
That's a tough one, yeah. As I told you, I was afraid, being an internet outsider, I was always afraid of losing traffic. But then this has been so stable and slowly growing every day through social media. It's been widely dispersed customer base, 2,500 a day. The average purchase amounts are very small. Our average shopping cart is around $25-30, something like that. It's a lot of orders every day. There's little risk on that front, I think. The main risk, if you may call it, some kind of change in policy, I think, in social media. At some point, Pinterest or Instagram or Facebook or Google Plus or whatever decide, hey, we don't let those online stores basically advertise for free anymore on our websites. From now on, you have to pay, which hasn't happened with any of them. I think they're happy to have those businesses because they create eyeballs and attractive images, etc. But I think just because our traffic has been coming to a large extent from those social media profiles, I think that was I'm not a user of those as a private person, but that was always my fear, that at some point they might shut this down. But it, again, hasn't happened. I don't think there's any indications that this will happen.
Moving to some of the work that you're doing on the business currently, what is the work? So describe what you're doing on like a weekly or monthly basis to maintain the business at its current level.
Meaning me as the ultimate, as the CEO, as the owner, or all the individual contractors?
You as the individual owner, yeah.
Basically, it's really just an oversight type of thing. It's so much automated. There's the social media girl, the order girl. There's one girl managing the affiliate programs or sending out regular coupon codes. There's the team of blog writers, and that's pretty much it. All I do is there's 2 email addresses for this business, which only I have access to, and it could be customers complaining or asking some questions or any type of whatever. It could be a little password issue or any little thing. It's basically an oversight type of thing. So every evening I check this mailbox. Every now and then there's something I have to answer personally. Otherwise, I just forward it to one of those contractors. So it's really minimal type of work. It's an absolute oversight type of engagement.
Is there any skills you'd suggest for a buyer to have before they purchase a site like this?
I guess I'm living proof that you probably don't need them. You definitely do not need any market know-how, any know-how in women's fashion. You don't have to be a social media, a young millennial actually using this stuff. That's absolutely not necessary. I would just say basic IT skills. So you should, know what a website is, know how to use Skype and Skype chats, know how to log into the admin section of the website, and maybe occasionally you see a little error and you have to change a picture that was falsely uploaded, or you have to correct a little typo or something like that. But it's really absolute basic IT skills. I think that's all I can say.
Excellent. Moving to some wrap-up questions here. Would you be willing to commit to a non-compete?
Yes. Meaning that would be in the same, I guess, industry. So I couldn't run any fashion businesses, and yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, in the specific women's fashion niche that this site's operating in. Yeah.
Yes, even if it's broader as stated, simply because I'm now hired on a full-time basis. I don't see myself acquiring or running such a business again in the next, say, 1 or 2 years. I was absolutely willing to sign any such thing. No problem.
And how much support would you be willing to offer a buyer?
I've been thinking about that, and just because I got so much very good support, I would definitely be very supportive. I think that's important also to get the buyer, motivated and kicked in. I think it's a nice thing that there's a lot of potential with this site. I think what I would do, I would personally commit to 1 month of support, ideally through training sessions on Skype or by phone or whatever works best, answering questions. I think we should do a series of live demonstrations on Skype, and we could gradually hand over the passwords and ownership so a new owner gets up to speed. It's definitely not rocket science, but I would definitely be willing to train any new guy for 1 month. And what I would also offer is 1 month of free coding support. I cannot do that, but I would have the same guy. I've already talked to him, it's a contractor, the same contracting coder that I'm currently using. I would fully pay for the guy for 1 month for any new owner, in case, I said it's 100% working right now, but in case any new owner would want to change anything or upload a new logo or anything that's a little bit more difficult, upload a new theme, make any sorts of improvements or changes, that would be also fully included.
And obviously the best case scenario here for you and for Empire Flippers is someone comes in and buys this for full list price. Would you at all be open to an 80% down and 20% after perhaps the training period, or perhaps 20% over a few months, an earn-out scenario like that?
I think so, absolutely. Again, you guys know better than me how these things work, but I would definitely be willing. I think Empire Flippers is a very trustworthy, respectable, institutional type of counterparty of site. I'm sure you have the necessary tools to monitor and execute that. So if that works, I'll be absolutely open to do that. No worries.
Awesome, man. Before I ask you my final question here, I just want to give a quick summary of the business for everyone listening in. As I mentioned at the top of the show, it's built in January 2015, has a monthly revenue of $12,313 with expenses sitting at $10,600 for that total net profit of $1,713. That is over a 12-month average, and included with the sale of the business is the domain, the site content files, the email list, the affiliate accounts, review account, and the social media profiles. So, Chris, my final question for you is, what is your best pitch in 30 seconds or less on why someone should purchase this business?
Wow, the famous elevator pitch. Let me have a go. So I think this is a very attractive, profitable, and growing e-commerce dropshipping business, which means it does not require any massive capital investment other than the purchase price, obviously, but there's no inventory, there's no massive build-up. It does not require any special skills or any special market know-how. It may be run from literally anywhere in the world, in any time zone, as you wish, be it New York City or a lonely island. It's absolutely remote. It directly produces positive cash flows and nice, handsome profits from day one. So that's not a business where you need to wait, 6 to 12 months for it to materialize. You basically start earning money from day one after acquiring it. It's easy to run, very straightforward from a business model perspective. And as I mentioned before, I think ultimately it's a fun and satisfying business, B2C consumer business with selling attractive, nice, fashionable products. And it creates happy and satisfied customers that leave a lot of nice comments. It's a fun business to run.
I think that was a great elevator pitch. Very good.
Thank you.
No problem. So for everyone out there, if you're watching this on YouTube and you want more information, the link will be below this video in the video description. That will take you to the marketplace listing. Now, if you're watching this on the actual listing page and you want more information, you can become a depositor today. It's super easy. All you have to do is click the button, make a deposit, and you'll be given everything you need to review this business. So Chris, thank you so much for coming on, man. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much, Greg. My pleasure.